Hello, I'm Sumit. It's Bork Business. And today we're going to talk hunger.
Oh, bag of chips, please.
Bag of chips. Geoff Curran is with me once more. He didn't like being called Jeffy, did you? That says it all. Right, so if you were listening or watching last week's episode, we talked about kind of the state of play of businesses, how many there are, and we realised that idiots like us actually represent a lot of business people who are people who start themselves, aren't really the kind of MBA business bods, and build businesses that are quite small, micro businesses, which we found out were huge. 89%, I think, if I remember.
They're quite small, actually.
Of all businesses. And it was a little bit about the kind of journey, and we will do our journey. And if you're listening on the podcast, we'll tell you how we started all of this in a forthcoming episode. But I just want to pick up where we left off, which was hunger.
Hunger.
And I said to you, are we hungry enough? And you went, oh, and then I cut you off. So.
God, do I get to have the whole episode just talking about it?
I'm going to walk away.
Yeah, if only. Come on, if only. My God. If Sumit does walk away.
I can't wait.
Right, hunger. Are we hungry enough? I think we have peaks and troughs. So there are times when we're like, oh no, I can't do that anymore. And then there are times when right, so at the moment, I'm right on it. First 2 months of this year, I was not right on it. Wasn't well. Was miserable, etc. But now back on it, and actually we've got a couple of events that we're working on. I'm very hungry to get those sorted because we're a bit behind. So it's really funny, and some of it innate because I really have got drive for the business. I think some of that is, but then there's other times when it's actually the business targets you've got. You want to ensure that you're hitting them. So I think hunger works in a couple of ways, in that sense. Also, we've wanted to build something which has a name and is known in an industry. So I think from that perspective,
we've probably done that, right? We started 9 years ago, and we've now grown.
So we should have stopped then.
Yeah, we should have stopped. We've become a brand that people know. But what it is if you look at, so let's have a look at old Stevie Jobs here, right? Some people love him, some people hate him. But whatever you do, you can't deny it. What he had is a vision, and then he built, and he built, and he built. And
okay,
Jeff
so
Bezos,
was it hunger,
or
was it a mission vision?
Well, I don't know, but this is the thing. If you look at, all the people that you would think is a classic business person, where it's like the dragons on Dragon's Den, nearly all of them are self-made, right? Some of them, like Stelios, just got 3 million quid from his dad and said, "Start."
Yeah, he did turn it into rather a lot more money.
But it's not bad seed money, though, is it, really?
No, true.
But for normal people like us, very few people, I think they're like elite athletes, right? And we know some business people, aren't they, who are just ridiculously driven and ridiculously hungry.
Yes. Actually, that's a good way of looking at it, elite athletes, actually. Because and elite athletes definitely are hungry, because that's why they keep doing it, that's why they keep going out there and doing it. So we're basically in a cross-country club that's sort of jogging along.
Waiting for the bus.
We're waiting for when we're a bit tired, can we have the bus? Actually, it's been like our cycle trip, if you think about it. Okay, we're not really looking very good here, are we?
No, but I think we're normal, aren't we? Because you normally leave. We said last week that a lot of people, there are two types of people. There's the kind of, the sugar types who at 16 or 12, they're selling things, they're going to be in business.
Yes.
And then there are dorks like us who ended up going to university and doing a career, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
And then we got pissed off with the corporate world and we left.
Yes.
So...
Well, no, actually, you've got to be careful there, because I had already tried to set up companies before that. So I've always wanted...
But you went back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I went back. Yeah, well, you got to pay the mortgage somehow.
No, but if you were a real entrepreneur,
that's what
you
I'm saying,
would
but
not have gone back.
No, but remember, we agreed last week that I'm not an entrepreneur. I think I'm somebody that likes business and I enjoy business. Am I truly an entrepreneur? Probably not. No, so I don't think I.
Because we're talking about risk, and you wouldn't put a mortgage on.
And we've met some people that really did. Yeah. Particularly the guys from Encore.
Yeah.
Who they got paid very little. They worked God knows what hours.
Yeah.
And we still see that with one or two of them, that they're still just going and going and going.
Yeah.
They're definitely entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I mean, we've met some people that in the energy sector that we work in, where they've built businesses themselves and then they've sold them for multiples of millions. And then they sat on their ass for about 30 seconds and went off and did it again. Now, personally, when we sell this business, I will be doing bugger all and sitting on my ass.
What do you mean? You're not doing much now.
That's true, actually, not much difference. But
not that I'm carrying the business.
No. Yeah, tell. You know that thing of a barnacle that sits on a whale? So I'm carrying on.
Oh, here we go. How many chips on which shoulders?
All of this,
how many chips?
You're
How many
the
chips?
Irish one with the potatoes. Now, what I've done is carried on building everything based on my knowledge, and he's leached off me.
Okay,
But
you're right. I've leached.
We're
By the way,
doing
here's
Ronnie
the salt
Corbett.
and vinegar for you.
Yeah, we've moved they're doing the Ronnie Corbett. So those people create something, get really wealthy through tons of hard work.
Yes.
And then they go and do it again.
Yes.
I'm definitely not like that. Are you?
Weirdly, I think if this was to finish, I'd go and do something else again.
Yeah.
But I don't. But I wouldn't put myself in the ranks of.
Would you have
some
the
of people.
hunger to do it again?
Yeah. I think I would. I like a deal. I like doing a deal. So for me, and actually having. We've proved that we've been successful in what we do, and if we then sold this company or we decided to let somebody else run it and then move on to something else.
God, looking around the room, I'm terrified I thought of that.
Rob's here, Johnny. I do apologise for the motivational speech from
Johnny.
Sumit.
Let's not even. You'll see Johnny on the Bork channel, and frankly, exactly, would you put him in charge of anything? So. You feel you still have hunger at 56, having set up a business, second business you've set up.
This is the third business I've set up.
Third, what was the first one? Oh, the bloody DJ.
No, God, that's four then, actually.
God.
So, DJ nightclub, recruitment business, then a software business, and now a publishing business.
Okay, so how did the recruitment business go?
That didn't go very well. But that's fine. You've got to make the failure. In fact, this is the great thing, isn't it? Is if you don't fail, you don't succeed.
That's true.
I fail every day of my life, okay? Because I ring up people and they tell me to bugger off. We're not interested, okay? Well, if I was upset by that, then I wouldn't make the calls. I wouldn't go and see these people.
Yeah.
We fail every day. In fact, we had a failure this week, didn't we, Johnny?
Yeah, we won't talk about that because we don't encourage libel in our organisation. I think what might help viewers and listeners is to go back to how we started. Just so we'll do a little bit of our history, right? So we met through his brother who used to work with me at the BBC, and we've done our bit of we both got pissed off with the corporate world and set off, and you'd done it before. When we set up initially, I wouldn't say I was hungry for it. I think I was just oh, well, I've gone freelance and now I'm going to start this business, which was the production business on Message to begin with. And it was I suppose for me, it was like it's a project to do, yeah?
Yeah.
So we both got to work, we both got to earn money, so I'm going to work hard for that. But the thing I remember, do you remember we were in the little office next door, right? Yeah. And so what would happen is I was in the back room with the editing equipment, and it was just me and him. And in the front room, he was on the phone, and he was trying to flog what we were doing, okay? And it was basically...
I think professionally sell is the word.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with him, definitely flog. And what I remember sitting there was like, oh my God. You were literally on the phone. Hello, mate. I'm Geoff. Oh, I've got this video. Do you want it? No. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, mate. I'm Geoff. Oh, no, you don't want it. And you just hammered the phones with people just telling you to sod off constantly.
Yeah.
That's when, because before we started, I asked your brother, I said, he's a bit of a weirdo. He gets drunk a lot, but will he work hard? And he said, well, he's all of those things and miserable. But
I'm not miserable. That's what really annoys me. People think I'm miserable.
He will work very hard. Was that hunger for you to prove yourself, or was that just... For me, like I was doing the journalism because it was just something for me to do. What was that made you, was that just your job?
That is just my job, but also it is that I think a lot of salespeople do have a form of hunger in terms of, let's be frank, we've employed some interesting salespeople.
We'll do that in another episode.
We'll do that another, sales and marketing. In fact, sales will be a very good episode. Sales will be a great episode, everyone. But I wanted the company to succeed.
So was that your ego driving that, or was it I need the money? Right. So remember.
Well, there's a number of different factors. There's always an ego. So I've always had this thing about I want to run a successful company.
Okay.
And one day I will do. And there's a money thing. We've all got. I've got a couple of mortgages. I've got a couple of ex-wives. I've got a couple of. That's another story, by the way, everybody. Really so the thing is that it is a number of factors, but that thing of just hammering and keep going and being persistent. Mm-hmm. I think. Excuse me. I've excited myself too much. Is probably that hungriness, that hunger underneath. To be successful.
What for me, I had enough of the corporate world, and that I suppose was my hunger, which was I wanted to be my own boss and work in this company. I didn't really, weirdly to begin with, looking back now in hindsight, I never thought, I've got to do this for money. I don't know, I looked at it as like, this is a project, we're going to try and make the best videos we can, and that was what I was putting myself into. Is that, do you think, sort of a different driver that, between sort of people who are a bit creative and people who are much more sort of corporate? But you're in a funny world because you've got foot in both camps because you are quite creative. Dare I have to say this? but you are a bit weird, aren't you, for that?
Yeah, well, actually, we should have another episode on creativity because I think creativity is a really interesting word because people think of, advertising agencies, marketing. That's a load of bull. I believe creativity is around ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have lots of ideas, and they're not about a graphic or a video or some music. I have lots of ideas around business, and I think of myself as creative because of that. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people don't see that as creativity, which is actually I think that is a load of crap.
But what I'm trying to get to is for you, for me, I was trying to do the best video because it's my ego, it's my reputation that I'm making a nice film, for a client. You'd normally think a salesperson just goes, I just got to do the numbers. But you weren't always like that, were you?
No, but actually I think a lot of salespeople, probably a lot of salespeople, and the ones that probably don't do as good a job as they should, are people that just fall into it and... They got into a job. They get into, and it's quite a well-paid job. Yeah, you have quite a bit of flexibility. And so what happens is, and I always wanted to sell. This is the weird thing. I always wanted to sell. And then I get the odd sort of blip where I think, do I really want to be doing this? And I always come back stronger because it's almost like, that's what I want to do.
Do you think the reason that we've been successful is because of the one difference is you're selling your own baby? This is something we create.
Yeah, I think that helps.
As opposed to you being employed by someone.
Yeah, I think that does help. I think if you're selling something that's, your thing, I think that really... In fact, when I came out of the recruitment company that had been mine, I joined another recruitment company and they were so excited to have me. And within 6 weeks, it was obvious that to them and to me that it wasn't going to work.
Why?
Because I had been running my own thing and now I wasn't running my own thing. And so I didn't want to work for them effectively. Because they didn't take me on. I mean, I'm sure if I'd done a good job, they would have probably said, come and join us as a partner. But they didn't at the start. And I wasn't interested.
I think the hunger thing is a very interesting one for anyone because when you start your career, and we've got some young people working for us. Tia's just joined us, left the sausage rolls of Sainsbury's behind, and she's now embarking.
Shame it's not the vegan sausage rolls.
No, she's into the vegan. Yeah, the vegan sausage rolls are great. But she's coming into a career and wants to learn things, and we all have that at the beginning, I suppose. And then, as you enter the world, you get slowly crushed and crumbled into your late 20s and 30s, and then you have that flip. Some people don't. Well, I can tell you that. Hang on, think about the number of people we've met who are just unhappy in their jobs, but they're there because they now got kids, they got debts, and they carry on.
Okay.
Right,
yes.
so that's true.
It's the whole crushing. And
it is. It crushes you, young people. You'll be crushed. And what happens then is you then have that flip of, do I want to get back? And I suppose for me, I was always very ambitious. So you were always like, I'm going to be a salesperson, whatever. I was always, I want to be a journalist. That's all I want to be. So for me, it was very simple. I'll start off in local papers, work my way up and get out there. And I worked nights and did all those things. And we can talk about hard work in another episode. But what was for me was I'd got to a stage where I wasn't happy. And then I guess I needed to reinvigorate myself. Yeah. And the hunger came, which was, okay, I'm not happy with this, I'm going to quit. And then I was stuffed because I had no money. And so I had to go and get
but then the hunger really works well then.
It does, absolutely. But do you think that is what kind of, business people have, is that there's, apart from the kind of real built ones that we've talked about earlier, there are a lot of people who just go, I need the freedom, and so the hunger comes from either frustration or just something that deep inside.
No, well,
or am I thinking too much about it?
I think so. There's levels of hunger, and then to an extent, you could say that a lot of people that become, freelancers and one-man bands and doing lifestyle business, they're not really that hungry. It's more they're probably not going to get a job because they're a certain age.
No, but there's also they're no worse than that we are. They're doing what they want to do, aren't they? Even if you go freelance and you quit, which is what I did.
I think it's interesting. When do you go right? So. Right. We made the decision. Yeah. We didn't get made redundant.
No.
We went, we're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
That was our decision.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people get made redundant. They become consultants.
Yes, true.
Okay. That's not hunger. That's because they think they're not going to get another job, or they've tried to get another job, and therefore they use the skill sets they've got.
Yes.
But actually, are they that hungry? Because if they were that hungry, they would have gone and done it themselves. So I think a lot. We talked about the business. How many businesses there are?
Yeah.
So we're in about the top 4 or 5% now in the country,
which is ridiculous.
Which is really fantastic.
Yeah.
We employ people. We at a certain level.
Some of them are quite good, Johnny. But yeah.
So the issue is that, and it's scary because I sort of think of us still as a small business, but actually we're in the top 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
So if you go back to all those people that are pretty much on their own.
Yeah.
Some of them will just be working because they really like it and they're happy and they're getting a very good lifestyle out of it. But I think most people aren't. I think they're doing it because the days of the 50s, the 60s and the early 70s where companies really looked after staff just doesn't exist anymore. Just doesn't exist. So you've got to look at now. If you can embrace that whole change and uncertainty, I think it's fantastic. You'll probably enjoy yourself more and you'll probably feel more satisfied. But it depends how you came into it. Did you make the decision or did someone make the decision for you?
Well, this is the really interesting...
We made the decision for ourselves.
I mean, I left a very well-paid job and I quit, and they couldn't believe I quit. And you sort of did the same thing. But loads of people, we know loads of them, who wait to be... The writing is on the wall and they wait for the payoff to go. But does that make them any less sort of business-like than we are? Because... they've gone. I'm not saying that. No, they might well be might be more business-like than us. Let's be frank. We're not like great business people. No. However, we're talking about hunger. So, my brother's a prime example. Yeah. He made the decision. We'll have to get him on an episode, so we slag him off.
Yeah, we're slagging him off. But no, actually, he did make the decision. It was just that he was given a catalyst for that decision.
He was given a wad of cash.
He was given a wad of cash, and and he said, "Do I want to stay there forever and ever?"
Yeah.
Which he would have had to if he hadn't taken it then.
But that is, if you look at it, that's a sensible way to do it. You launch with some money behind you. We did the stupid way.
No, we don't, but I had money behind. No, I had money behind me.
Yeah, but I did even worse because I had no money behind me. I just went, I'm going. I'm so annoyed I'm going. Yeah. So my driver of hunger ended up, you're absolutely right. I said very simply, when I started working, my first month I earned 200 quid. I thought, what the hell have I done? And then I thought about this very simply. You only go looking for food when you're starving. And then it kicked my ass, and I had to go and get business. So for me, that kind of something that was emotional, I'm not happy with my work, didn't say to me, go and get another job with Sky or ITV. It was just go by myself.
Yeah.
But I left with no security. And looking back, that was
so weirdly, you're probably more of an entrepreneur than I am.
No, I'm more of an idiot than you are. That's exactly it.
Everyone would agree.
and so it was my anger and my ego that drove me so much to just leave and not go.
And guess what? That anger and ego has never left us, by the way, everybody.
I wouldn't say that. I haven't been very hungry, apart from.
So I think we've done hunger to death, actually.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
because I think that the thing is, what is the difference between someone saying, my hunger is, I'm going to start a tiny business, a self-made person, us in the sort of middle, and then those big sort of, is it the same levels of hunger? This is the interesting thing, because for someone who's dealing with millions, then to get billions is their hunger drive, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For us to go from thousands to hundreds of thousands. But if you're a one-person band, you could go to some 20 grand and go, oh, actually, I've got a $2,000 job. That's great.
Well, then we're going into mindset. Now, the interesting thing about mindset's a definite. That's another episode. There's all these episodes that we. So mindset, creativity, sales.
Rob, are you writing them all down?
My
Good.
brother. It's all right. We're recording it, mate. This is what we're doing. So, I do think that there are levels of hunger. I think there are people that are just more driven and therefore they're more hungry.
Yes.
And we meet those people in the energy industry.
We do.
We've met them elsewhere. I think we've got, the fact of where we've got to, you could say, well, actually, we're probably in the top 10% in terms of hunger and drive, because we've created a company in the UK that's in the sort of top 5%. And we're fortunate that we probably both wanted it in that sense, because it would have been interesting if it had been more you and less me, or more me and less you.
We were very lucky we had this combination of two people in two different skill sets, but who both wanted that thing of running their own business. I suppose for me, I look at it and like I said, my grandfather started a business which grew to a very successful business. Very, very driven man, right? My soon-to-be father-in-law, very driven man, that sort of. I've never seen myself as a business person that's been driven, but my hunger has been different, because my hunger has been, I want to be a journalist, I want to write good stuff, I want to make TV, failed at all of those things. I want to employ great young people, generally done well. Johnny.
My God, if he sounds patronising, everybody, he bloody is.
Exactly. But that is very different to the self-made man who's like, I've never thought I want a yacht or I want to drive a Ferrari.
Yeah, but I think you're quite secure in what you are. So there are plenty of cases. Oh no, I'd love to have a yacht.
Would you?
Oh, I'd love the trappings of success if I could get them. Yeah,
that's quite interesting.
I just don't. I remember in my 20s, I always liked the idea of having a Ferrari. I mean, come on, we did talk about the RSA.
Yeah,
very nice.
We did.
But I think you will find that quite a lot of very wealthy people are actually incredibly insecure, and it doesn't actually help them at all. It's not what weirdly, they think they're driven by all of those success trappings, and then when they get them, they actually are still as uncontent or discontent as they always were. And it's that doesn't change it.
Yeah. If we sold tomorrow, right, and we got money that we're happy for.
£20 and 25p.
£20, 25p. Would you think you'd be hungry enough? You said earlier, I'd probably do something. Would you want to go and do something again?
Right, let's make the assumption that we make enough that we wouldn't have to work.
Well, we wouldn't make loads, but right.
But
so
let's say no,
realistic figure.
Forget the numbers.
Okay.
But let's say we both got a number where we didn't have to effectively work for the rest of our lives.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Though you with a child,
please.
I can assure you, it's way more expensive.
Exactly.
Than you
That's
remember.
way more expensive.
It's way more expensive than you remember.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that.
The thing is that I can't imagine. I might only live 15 years. I might live another 30 or 40 years. Okay. However, do I see myself just doing absolutely not a lot? Going either just go cycling every day or go and play golf.
No, but you could volunteer. You could do something different, couldn't you? You could still occupy your time.
Yeah. I think I would definitely need to occupy my time, but I do think I quite like the idea. I mean, I like my vinyl records. There is a bit of me that's like, I'd do a bit of wheeling and dealing on that. Okay, I probably wouldn't make loads of money out of it, but I'd enjoy it because of just the fun and games around it.
So you would have a hunger to try another business.
Yeah, but I also think that if we were to get rid of this one, I wouldn't be surprised that I'd probably be making a few calls to people to say, well, now I haven't got this, I can help you with some other bits and pieces. So should we have a chat? So I do think I probably would go and I'd see where it lead me. I mean, let's be frank. We set up a company which was going to do video. Well, sorry, we were going to do a sales training company and a media training company. Yeah. We got rid of that very quickly and went into video production. And then from the video production, we got into the energy world because of the clients we were dealing with. And then because of your news background, we set up a news organisation. Okay? So we didn't set up. So for instance,
no, we never had the idea of setting
it wasn't
this up.
like we goes right. Energy risk management. That's what we're going to set up. We're going to stick to it.
We fell into it.
We felt we are a bit like a river going through the land. We've
with a few shopping trolleys in it.
Yes, but we've got to a point where we've sort of now we have very much got a business that's been around there for almost 9 years. So we're on a straighter line. However, that's not to say that something else might not come along. I don't think so. I think we're sort of quite nicely set where we're at. But it is interesting that that's not how we started. We just had this thing of let's start something. Yeah. And then we saw where it took us.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for this week. I think next week, should we actually do the story of how we started? Because I think that's quite an interesting...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jackanory for all you old people out there, and I don't know what... And podcast time for all the youngsters. Oh, my God. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
I think that's what we'll do. So next week, we'll tell you how we started Energy Live News.
How I bribed him into doing it.
Yeah, how we bribed it. Yes, there'll be death. There'll be emotion.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. There'll be a bit of bullshit as well. Well, loads of it, actually, frankly. A sort of a Mexican standoff moment.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that bit as well. Yes.
Nearly collapse of the business, just 2 weeks away from going under. So there's loads of little things.
No, it was 4 days, actually.
4 days. It's all right, guys. We're okay. Your jobs are secure. Don't worry right now. And we'll go through that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Get in touch with us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, on Insta. You can hit that subscribe button. I was told smash. Is that right? Smash the subscribe button. And remember...
What does that mean?
That's what she told me. Tia told me to smash the subscribe button.
We're going to smash Tia. Oh, sorry. No. We're going to go and do Tia's smash.
Subscribing. Get in touch. Remember, there's plenty more stuff on Bork. We've got loads and loads of stuff. So stay tuned. Tell your friends. Subscribe to us now. We'll see you next week.